Welcome to the Lowland Catchup. It's myself, Chris, and today I'm joined by Derek. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How's you?
Yeah, good. We were both at the Kelty Shire game yesterday. It was not too bad. I think we're getting a bit too old though for the late nights, I think.
I can see that again.
Yeah. So we'll start with obviously Friday's game, BSC Glasgow versus Bonnyrigg Rose, a game that you were at obviously at the end of the drill. Do you want to take us through it, Derek?
Yeah, it was a really strange game in many ways because it ended up a game of 5 goals, and I don't really know where they came from. So the first half was quite quiet. It was a tense game. You could tell both teams were scared to make any big mistakes. But it was just bubbling up nicely. There was a wee bit of tension in there, and some meaty challenges. It was getting very, very interesting as we got to the second half, and it all exploded after Bonnyrigg took the lead, basically. So 10 minutes into the second half, penalty given, and Curry converting from the spot. It was a Hunter that was brought down in the box, and from there, it just really opened up. BSC went for it and kind of brought in a striker, brought in Martin Green, sacrificing a centre back. Basically, that was Swifty's declaration of we need to win this game if we want to challenge, I think, this season. Rose took the next goal though, so they went 2-0 up, 15 minutes left. Hunter baiting down and goal, make no mistake after quite a bad defensive mistake from Jamie McCormack, but he made up for it later on. We'll get to that. And basically, a kind of loose pass in the defence put Hunter straight through, and he made no mistake. 83 minutes on the clock, BSC got a free kick on the edge of the box. Declan Hughes just basically smashed it through a sea of bodies, and it ended up in the net. So that was game on. And 2 minutes later, BSC won a corner, pretty much straight from the kick-off again. And Jamie McCormack made up for his earlier error by powering home a header from a great Declan cross. At that point, it could have gone either way. Both teams had kind of wee half chances here and there, but ultimately, as injury time hit, it was Ewan Moyes for Bonnyrigg that managed to basically take the 3 points. It was quite a soft header that he got for the cross ball, but it was just enough to get over the line, despite the fact that BSC had somebody on the post. So it just crept in, and that was enough. Wild celebrations for Bonnyrigg. Ended up seeing Robbie Horn getting sent off as well. So he will not be in the dugout for their next match, but I suspect they won't mind too much because it's a huge, huge result for them, and probably the most important game of the season so far as the league goes.
Yeah, I would agree. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the game, obviously, because a bit difficult travel on a Friday night for me. But I was keeping a close eye on it, obviously, and it looked when BSC got the second that they might have went on and won it, but it wasn't to be. Obviously, Bonnyrigg showing their tough opposition coming into the Lowland League this season. I did see your tweet about you feel that's the title challenge over for BSC. Is that something given it a few days that you still think?
Yeah, I stand by that because the way that Kelty have been up to this point, and the way that BSC and Bonnyrigg have just been taking care of business when it comes to kind of other games out with the top 3-4, I can't see both Bonnyrigg and Kelty dropping 3 games in the running. Bear in mind it's an abridged season, we've got 30 games. So there's big games to come. Obviously BSC have got a double header against Kelty, as have Bonnyrigg. But I just can't see both sides dropping enough points to let BSC kind of to run past on the outside. And there's the additional distraction that we've got of the Scottish Cup as well. So if we happen to get past East Kilbride, I think that makes it even less likely that we'll have any chance of getting back in the running. But I obviously hope I'm proven wrong.
Sometimes in football where you kind of react after a game, and I think you're right. I think it's going to be tough for them, especially after losing in the way they did to Rose, like just last minute. And obviously you're right, the Scottish Cup game is going to be massive for both BSC and East Kilbride, and obviously Bonnyrigg have a Scottish Cup game against Clyde as well. So yeah, a few distractions there. We'll move on to Saturday's games, and we'll start with Kelty Hearts versus East Stirlingshire, a game that myself, you and Sean were at New Central Park. You described the BSC Bonnyrigg game as strange. I think at the time I said I thought this game was rather strange as well. Quite tense, probably a similar in a lot of respects. Obviously, a massive game for Kelty and Shire. Scott Linton lobbed the keeper to give Kelty the lead in 9 minutes, and I don't know really what happened with this one, to be honest. For Kelty to get their second, 27 minutes gone, there was something spotted by the referee during a Kelty corner. I've still not really worked out what the ref saw.
It was quite a clear shirt pull on Mendy. And if anyone hasn't seen Kelty since they've signed Mendy, he's a unit. He's an absolute monster of a man. So you could see the defenders panicking, basically, as he kind of made his run. Somebody grabbed his shirt, was enough to kind of divert his run slightly, and the ref gave a pen straight away.
Yeah, I did hear that. Obviously, I was kind of a wee bit because the guy that does the Shire sort of media, that he was sort of where I normally sort of sit. I was a bit obstructed with my view, but yeah, it was a Kelty penalty. Scott Linton added to his goal tally and made it 2-0 with himself getting a brace. Obviously, Shire did get a goal back before half time. It was decent play down the line, and it was put in the box for Sean Brown to backheel into the net. Probably what they deserved, to be honest, because it was as I say, it was a very strange game to cover. Second half, it was chances. I believe Kelty kind of sat back a wee bit too much for me. I think I said that yesterday. Shire really came into it. I spoke to Andy Williamson before and after the game. One thing he did mention that there was a lot of fight about Shire, a lot of physicality. I agree. I think that's the first time I've really seen Shire properly have a fight about them. Not to say they don't have normally, but that was proper, like, we need to win this game. But I think it did boil over a wee bit. Certainly, I think Eddie Malone was maybe lucky to stay on the park. Jordan Tappin had a terrible off-the-ball elbow on Thomas Riley, which it was right in front of me, so I saw it. Thomas Riley kind of put a tackle on him, and Shire kind of broke. I think it was Matty Flynn, and literally Jordan Tappin just waited on Riley getting up, and he elbowed him in the face. Bit of a shocker. It was a bit of a theme. I think both teams were a wee bit unhappy with the referee yesterday. Shire, in all fairness, they got the equaliser 81st minute. Sean Brown scores to add to his tally as well. It was 2 for Linton and 2 for Sean Brown. And they did have a chance at the end with Paul McCafferty quite close to win the game. Kelty did have a chance with Nathan Austin as well, but it was a good defence by Shire. We're going to listen in to Barry Ferguson's thoughts with Mark McCabe.
Result you were wanting, but a point at the end of the day. What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I'm happy to take a point. I didn't think we were at the races today. I know we went into a 2-goal lead, but it was it wasn't a great football game. I don't think we played particularly well. So at the end of the day, look, I'm happy to come away with a point, but really disappointed in the performance.
It was a battle out there at times.
Yep.
How would you feel the guys kept holiday on letting the emotions?
Listen, I think that's one of the things that's been took out of football. You know, I mean, I don't mind a few meaty challenges and things going on between players. For me, that's what makes football great. But I thought they were more physical as the day. That's one of the things that disappointed me. But as I says, look, you're going to get games like us throughout the season. The main thing is that you hold on and you come away with something in a game, and that's what we've done. But the guys know that's not the levels that we've played at. We were well below par the day. So look, we'll dust ourselves down, we'll take a point, and we'll move on to next week's game. And there's a lot of hard work to be done Tuesday, Thursday. In training, there's quite a few things that I think we've come away from, but we were really good at. But look, also on the other hand, I've got to give the boys credit. We haven't been on a really good run, as I says. So we'll take a point and we'll dust ourselves down, but disappointing.
Obviously, I want to thank Mark McCabe and Barry Ferguson. Now, what were your thoughts on the game, Mozza?
It was a game of two halves, basically. Kelty started on the front foot and looked like they were going to be in complete control, but I felt like they took their foot off the gas a bit. If they had got a third goal, I think it would have been game over. But Shire, to give Shire credit, like, it's a really tough start they had. They were 2 down very, very quickly, and they got moving. They didn't kind of chuck it like they could have done, you know. As you said, there was a lot of fight in that Shire team yesterday. And they played some nice stuff, I must admit, as well. It's the best I've seen Shire play in the few times I've seen them this season. That I actually think Sean Brown being in there is a massive help for them as well. Peter McDonald struggled a wee bit. He's obviously a wee bit older. He's not really get the pace. But that was a kind of game where Sean, with a bit of strength and a bit of pace, was able to give all sorts of problems to Kelty's back line. I think a draw is a fair result. I haven't said that Shire will be upset that they never took it in the end, because as well as McCafferty's chance, actually, ironically enough, when tapping and get booked for that elbow, he'd stopped his own team with pretty much a 4-on-3 breakaway through Matty Flynn, and there was a good chance they were going to score there as well. So he's hurt himself and his team, basically. But I don't think I'd be that concerned as a Kelty supporter with the way the game went. It was one of those where they were sitting in and trying to see it out and it never worked. But as you say, I think they were really deep, and I don't understand why they weren't trying to get that third goal, the killer, you know. But hey, they're where they are on merit. It's another game unbeaten. Shire obviously have improved as the season's gone on, and that's then put a marker down to say, well, we're still here, basically. I think when BSC beat them recently, a lot of people saw it as unfortunate for Shire. They didn't really deserve it in some people's eyes, but they've shown everyone they're here to play, and they'll have a say as the season winds down.
Yeah, it's one of the talking points of Shire this season that they have been very unfortunate in their games against the likes of Kelty, EK, BSC, but I know they gave pretty much everyone the man of the match yesterday, I noticed that, but Sean Brown for me, there was the boy at the back, Adam Murray, I thought had a brilliant game. For Kelty, obviously, Scotland, and obviously the two goal scorers, and I think Ross Philp as well had a decent game. But I've seen better from Kelty, obviously, and I've certainly seen Shire score more goals and play a bit more forward. But yeah, probably a 2-2 fair result.
The weather wasn't exactly conducive to great football as well, was it? It was that kind of hovery, sticky rain for anyone that wasn't there. That it's just an absolute nightmare to play football in, unless you absolutely love a sliding tackle. It
was actually the same at the Falkirk Stadium. It was quite heavy weather in the reverse fixture as well. We'll move on to East Kilbride versus Cumbernauld Colts, and it was a bit of a surprising result in terms of the scoreline. K Park, East Kilbride, resurgent under Jim Patterson. They won 7-0 against the Colts. The Colts haven't been that great lately, unfortunately for them. I wasn't expecting this though. So East Kilbride opened the scoring in the 10th minute. It was a big switch from the right back from Stanger straight onto the toe of Payton, who slots it by the Colts keeper. It did take them a while to extend their lead. Just before half time on the 40th minute, Paul Woods dribbles through the Colts defence and squeezes the ball through to Malcolm, who battles hard to get to the end of it and slips it past the Colts keeper. Basically, a minute later, it's a beauty. A ball played over to Woods, who channels his inner Larson, apparently, and dinks the ball over the Colts keeper again. It was 3-0 at half time.
Did you get the impression that the Kilby tweeter might have been a Celtic fan by any chance?
Well, it's an accusation thrown at East Kilbride, isn't it? A lot of them are, Paul Woods, Sean Winter, formerly Barry Russell, all Celtic fans saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a striker that was for Stenny, Jamie Longworth.
Yeah, Jamie Longworth, and then I think BJ Cole's a Celtic fan. There's a few Celtic fans at East Kilbride, let's put it that way. Yep, second half, 55th minute, Darryl Healy pulls wide and delivers a great ball into the box that is met by Payton at the back post, who taps home 4-0. 60th minute, Healy again does great to roll the Colts defender, makes space for his shot, but it comes off the post and Woods is there to smash it home for his second of the afternoon. 5-0, we're losing a wee bit of track now. 76th minute, ball breaks to Kieran Gibbons on the edge of the box and he smashes the ball to make it 6-0. And on the 87th minute, the ball switched to Payton, who pulls it down, cuts inside and slots it home to complete his hat-trick, 7-0. And they done a wee bit of a gif, hashtag Magnificent7. Huge credit to East Kilbride there. That's a smashing result. Daryl Healy obviously coming into the team, it looks like he's doing his part. What do you really say about the Colts though? I mean, that's not a result. Put that with Gretna last week, the defeat to Gretna. That's not looking good for Colts at the moment.
It's become a bit of a well-worn story with Colts that they have a dip when you get into the kind of second half of the season, but it's coming earlier this year, isn't it? It's concerning because, as you say, they've had the result against Gretna and so on recently. I don't think anyone expected them to go and ship 7 there, so I'm not really sure what's going on, to be honest. I'd definitely be concerned if I was a supporter, but the flip side of that, we had a chat after the game yesterday at Kelty about East Kilbride and what they've done recently. Ever since they've changed manager, it feels like they've got a wee spark again, and they're playing just almost with a kind of renewed sense of freedom, and they're playing great. You've got to give credit to the new regime that's came in, and it seems like the boys are enjoying it as well. You saw Sean Winter tweeting after the game. He's obviously in a good mood. It probably helps with 1-7-0, but we always associated Kilby with having great dressing room atmospheres, and they always had good banter. It's been quite quiet this season for them, so it's good to see that's come back a wee bit. And obviously, both East Kilbride and BSC are building up to that massive Scottish Cup game as well. So, what better way to prepare for that than a 7-0 win and everyone's playing out their skin? Like, that's ideal prep for getting into the biggest game of the season in terms of, well, let's be honest, in terms of monetary side of things for your football club going forward.
Yeah, and it would probably be a bit of a feel-good factor as well, because Colts have a fairly decent record against East Kilbride. They went there last season, obviously, to win the league, but Colts did manage a result. And Colts, yeah, there's something that needs to be done there. I don't know. It's hard to put your finger on it sometimes. I think they just need a result to get a wee bit of momentum back, I think.
Their team didn't look particularly weak, did it? When you have a look back. Maybe 1 or 2 boys missing, but I don't know. I would just be concerned that it's kind of came out of the blue. I would never expect them to shift 7 goals away to Kilby, as you say, a team they've played well against in the past. So there's obviously they need a bounce back. Let's put it that way. And we'll see what they're made of in the next slate of fixtures.
Moving on to Cali Braves versus Vale of Leven at Alliance Park. I thought this was going to be a close one actually, but Cali Braves did run out 4-1 winners. They took the lead within 5 minutes. Neil McLaughlin tapped home the opener. Vale of Leven did get the equaliser through the gaffer Chris Anderson on the 11th minute, but yeah, Cali Braves kind of took charge from there. The 45th minute, just before half time, great play from Ben Daly and Ross McNeil smashed home. We didn't take them long to extend their lead into the second half. The 51st minute, it was Ross McNeil again smashing home a penalty to make it 3-1. And just before full time, 79th minute, Roscoe again grabs another hat-trick with a lovely looping effort for the win, 4-1 Cali Braves. Just before we get into it, mate, we do have an interview with Ricky Waddle.
So, Gaffer, it was a 4-1 today. Most important thing is getting 3 points.
We've been here before. We performed well and not got the 3 points. For the first half, after the goal, we stopped playing. We became really slack and had a right go at them, because that's not good enough. That's not the standards. We spoke about standards, and midweek performances have generally been good. Maybe some games have not got the results that we desired or deserved. But you make your own luck, and your number one thing is make sure everybody's working hard and doing the right things. And I don't think they never worked hard in the first half. They just started to be sloppy. As soon as they scored that goal, we got it quite early through Neely. We stopped doing the things that we're good at. And the team that I had out the day was a team that had to keep the ball, had to pass, had to keep possession, and had to move the ball. We didn't do that in the first half.
Are you disappointed in the manner of the goal we conceded again?
You're always disappointed in the goals that you concede. Sometimes you can say, and I don't think it's been many times where we've said, we've been cut up by good play. Maybe East Kilbride a wee bit, on the side, on the second, on the side of us. but it's just the inability to clear our lines. Yeah, and they're better than that. We've done it so many times, done that well. Other times we've not done that so well. And I'm not accepting that's maybe just the way we are. I'm not accepting that because they've got to be better. And I had to go to the players involved at half time because we need to raise our standards, not to be negative to them, because I think there's a lot of positives that we can take in the game. And ultimately, I left it on their plate to go in the second half and do so much better. And they did. They started passing it, moving it, taking care of it, not being sloppy. But also being aggressive defensively, winning the first balls, winning the second balls, putting themselves into a position where they could get the drop downs. And that was so important. And that then gives you the opportunity to do your style of play that you want to play and use your quality.
One another positives, obviously Roscoe's getting another hat-trick today. You've brought him in to score goals, and it's what he's produced. He was clinical today, 3 great goals. He's
a goal scorer, but I'd still like more for him. Maybe not in terms of goals and numbers. I just, we're at the stage of the season that we're going to start thinking about how we're going to get better, how we're going to push the whole thing, the whole club, the whole team to get better. And I'm not in any way looking for the season to just hit that out. Absolutely not. We've got to think about how we're still in some cup competitions and want to try and win them, and if not do really well in them, but in the league we want to push for as many points as we can.
Another positive maybe to take was Blair came back on, and the first thing he did was a shot target, so it must be impressive for yourself just to get him back into the squad.
It's great for him. He's been out for a long time, along with a few of them. There was a few others. Jack Preston played with the under-23s today, so that was great for him to get 45 minutes as well. Blair gives us energy, gives us spirit, gives us positivity, gives us good quality as well. Still got a bit to go in the game in terms of learning, but hopefully he is the type of boy who will take things on board and he'll progress with us.
Just lastly, we've got Gallifrey away next week. It's going to be a tough game, but we've got our 2 tough games after it. So how important is it that we maybe kick on and get another 3 points next week, get into 2 tough games after that?
Yeah, we play Gala here, and they're a team that like to play football, so do we, sort of a bit more of a tactical battle, I think. They play in a decent surface down there, so I think it'll be a good football game. But I want us to be so much better than we were in the first half. Some of the performance that we did in the second half, across the full game, across the full 90 minutes. The game's played 90 plus minutes, and we want to be as good as we can. We will need to be facing Gala, because anybody around about that sit at that area of the table can beat each other.
Well done today, Gaff.
Cheers.
Obviously want to thank Kelly Braves and Ricky Waddle for that interview. An excellent result for Kelly Braves, kind of what I expected. I kind of expected them to get the win there, but I did think it was going to be a wee bit tighter with Vela leaving winning last week.
Yeah, they've done alright recently, haven't they? Having said that, I did fancy Kelly Braves in this one, purely because there seems to be a good feel-good factor in the club at the minute. We said at the very start of the season, going all the way back to the preview podcast, that we thought Ross McNeil was a brilliant pickup. And he's proven it again. He's just an accomplished Lowland League striker that's guaranteed to get you goals. And these are the kind of games that he earns his crust, because without his hat-trick there, that would have been anyone's for the taking that game, But he's just a brilliant striker at this level. And they've also been helped with Davy Winters being in a wee vein of form, and they've got goals in that team, Kelly Braves. So yeah, I'm sure they'll be delighted with where they are. Who knows how high they can get up the table as we get towards the closing stages.
Moving on to our first of many derbies, one of the border derbies. It was Berwick Rangers versus Gallifrey Rovers at Shielfield Park. It was Gala that took the lead just on the half-hour mark. It was Danny Galbraith giving them the advantage, and it was that advantage that they took into half-time. It was 1-0 Gala at half-time. Yotto's equalised on the 56th minute, but Danny Galbraith drilled home a powerful low shot to restore Gala's lead on the 79th minute. Scott Taylor-McKenzie was sent off for Gala pretty much towards the end of the game, his second yellow, and Berwick Rangers did manage an equaliser. Ewan Smith pulls it level deep into injury time. I think it was like the 95th minute or something.
Yeah, 96 on the clock.
Last kick of the ball sort of stuff. And the good news for Berwick Rangers is they did manage to get a player in the catch-up team of the month, and I think that's what both them teams were playing for. You know, that 11.
Absolutely, you've got to play for the big accolades this season, you know.
Congratulations to obviously Kieran Bryan on making the team. It was a tough choice because I have been impressed with a few of the Berwick players. I've said before, Ewan Smith in particular. You know, he got the equaliser there, but Kieran Bryan's has been one that's been sort of highlighted for a few weeks as well, so congratulations. It's the game, when I spoke to Kev and we went through it last week, I did say that it was going to be a draw, so it's kind of up to my expectations really, but Berwick Rangers leaving it very, very late against Gala.
They've kind of settled into the league now, I think. Like, they're getting to the point where there's no kind of unknown factor anymore for them, and this is their level this season. That these are the kind of games that they need to grind away, and they've done it. Like, they've kept fighting to the very last, and have managed to get that goal right at the death to take the point. But if you're Gala, you'll be absolutely sick at conceding that late, won't you? It would have been a fantastic result for the Rovers, but they'll go again. I think both of these sides are kind of in the same space now, where they should be safe enough not to worry about what's happening below them. So they're kind of in a nice wee air that they can just prepare for next season and try a few things out, and then basically, well, there's no pressure, I guess, is the easiest way to sum it up. So we'll see how they go in the next few weeks or so, but you've got to give credit to Berwick for coming back right at the death, especially having been down twice.
Absolutely. And moving on to another derby, what we're calling what I've seen called the Dumfries and Galloway derby. I don't know how well that will stick. The D&G derby, I guess. At Islecroft, Dalbeattie Star versus Gretna. There is, to be honest, a wee bit of competitive rivalry between these teams, so it is fair to maybe call it a derby. It was Jack Hunter that gave Gretna the opener. He's just back, I believe, for Gretna. He was very impressive last season, so it's good that he's back, and amongst the goals, obviously, I think he'll be one of the key players for Gretna if they keep hold of him. He opened the scoring on the 9th minute, obviously Gretna taking the lead. I think it was quite fiery, a few tackles. I noticed a few sort of heated comments, Greg Forborn, for example. I did notice that on the catch-up Twitter.
Imagine Greg being fiery and making comments. Imagine that.
Yeah, he's some boy, Greg Forborn. I probably wound him up a wee bit with that picture I noticed I tagged him in. But 79th minute, Lewis Sloan got the equaliser for Dalbeattie Star. It ended 1-1. It's kind of the result similar to Berwick Gala that I was maybe expecting. I was thinking maybe Dalbeattie Star had the advantage at home, but Gretna have done decent to get a draw there. A game that both teams wouldn't have wanted to lose, basically.
Exactly what I was about to say. It's one of those games that neither team would have been looking to lose it. They would have probably taken a draw before the start. Although, for what I've seen for Gretna, I think it seems like they're actually quite disappointed they never took all 3 points. They feel like they're the better team, or at least they were at the weekend. So that was quite interesting. Whereas the Dalbeattie side seem to be happier that they've got the point, and they've basically been quite open and saying, we didn't play that great, but we got the point, so we'll keep going, you know. So I think that tells you a lot, that Gretna obviously played well, and they'll be a wee bit upset having not got the 3 points to take home.
They've certainly been on the rise lately. I mean, Chris Humphrey, I think they were improving just before he left, but Rowan Alexander's really got them back to getting points and getting away from that sort of bottom four, if you will. I think it's going to be tough, but certainly with Berwick and Gala, I think they're more safe than the bottom four teams, I would suggest. Yeah,
I think Gretna's got a win in them, but more so than most of the teams down that neck of the table. Like, you can see Gretna picking up a win against sides higher up as well, if things go right for them. And I don't think Rowan's changed too much, to be honest. He's basically just built on what Chris had put as a base. So they're not reinventing the wheel, and I think that's why the consistency's coming, because it's stuff they know, and they're just working on it and they're improving. So I'd expect to see Gretna pick up a few more wins as we move on.
Moving on to the North Edinburgh Derby, the Spartans versus Civil Service Strollers at Ainsley Park. There wasn't too much in this as well. You usually get that in these sort of tense games. It was a goal in the 25th minute. It was 1-0 Civil, a well-worked corner and a peach of a curling finish from the edge of the box by trialist Archie Rue. I know Archie Rue quite well. I saw a lot of him last season. He was obviously playing for the Celtic Hearts under-20s. Quite like him. He's good on the ball. He's a decent midfielder. He's came up trumps there for Civil Service Strollers. Half time, there wasn't much between the sides. Spartans edged the possession, carving out a couple of late chances, but the goal was, the one moment of quality. Spartans, certainly the second half, they did have a lot of chances to equalise. Probably the best equaliser inches away for Spartans as Jack Smith had a header cleared off the line by Callum Yates. Callum Yates is another one that we sort of highlighted earlier in the season. One of the players in on loan from Hibs. He's been brilliant, and I think that was his best game from for Civil Service Strollers that I heard. So yeah, he's done really good there. 80th minute, Adam Corbett was sent off for a high feet tackle. I think Spartans weren't really sure why he was sent off, but yeah, they were down to 10 men, and Civil Service Strollers, an important win for that 5th place at the moment, and they'll be hoping that one of the teams in the top 4 can maybe slide out and they can maybe get top 4 that they missed out on last season. But a sickener for Spartans, obviously. They don't like losing to Strollers.
I'm not so sure Gary will be too happy about you openly telling everyone whose trialist was that scored, by the way, because he probably wants to keep a hold of him and not get any interest.
It's fine because they've actually got it on the report and it's on Twitter, so I did make sure of that, don't worry.
That's alright then. But I think the most important thing for Strollers in this, though, call me old-fashioned, but they've had a pretty rotten record against Spartans going back a few years. It just seems to be that they can't get over the hump and beat them. So that, I think, will be a big mental boost for them that they've managed to do it this time. Going back to last season when they were neck and neck towards the end of the campaign, and they couldn't beat them. So yeah, it's a big win for them, and by all accounts it seems as if it was deserved, that there wouldn't have been any complaints if it was 2 or 3, so you've got to give credit where it's due. Spartans have had a weird season. It's just not really kicked off. It feels like that. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it, if they'll be disappointed or if it's just one of these things with the squad turnover they had. What do you think?
I mean, it'll be disappointing for them not to get back to winning ways, because they were doing really well before the BSC defeat, obviously. But I kind of like Strollers. I said that I was looking out for that result yesterday when we were at the football, and I did expect Spartans to win at Ainsley Park. To be honest, I maybe jinxed them because I did actually put a prediction in. Remember, I wasn't doing that for a long time, but I don't know how to take it. I think Spartans are quite happy. They didn't seem that disappointed. I think it was just one of those games. That's football sometimes. There's a lot of results this week where the managers probably will be just, shrugging their shoulders saying that is football. I don't think that they'd be too disappointed. I think it depends on what happens at the end of the season. Certainly if Strollers can somehow make it into the top 4, they've got a really good chance with the likes of Shire playing a lot games more than everyone. But it depends how they go on, and it depends what Spartans do. I don't think they'll be too concerned. A lot of these teams, I think, even looking into next season, will be rebuilding and seeing what they can improve on. Plus it's January, so they might be looking at bringing in a few people in. It just really depends.
It'll be interesting to see, especially around the league, what happens January transfer business wise. We've seen a couple of outgoings already, like Alan Martin leaving East Kilbride to go up a level. So I'm more interested in seeing who comes in to clubs, and it'll give you a good idea their mentality and where they think they can go the rest of the season. So we'll keep an eye on it and obviously talk about it as time goes on.
On to our final game and on to our final derby, University of Stirling versus Edinburgh University. It was 1-1 at Forth Bank. It was similar to the last game I think these guys played. Edinburgh Uni seemed to always sort of pull out a result against University of Stirling, regardless of form and whatnot. I've noticed 17 minutes in, it was another good chance, but it was well defended as the Edinburgh defender nicks the header away, but it's not cleared far enough, and Robbie McGill shows his strength to fire into the top of the net to give Stirling Uni the opener there. There was a bit of a funny tweet I noticed. 35 minutes. Apparently, Jamie Penker had the wrong shirt on, which Chris Geddes wasn't too impressed with. They couldn't repeat what he said, but apparently if he was marking Jamie's university work, he wouldn't have got a good grade. It was a good start to the second half from Edinburgh Uni, and they did equalise through Jordan Purves on the 50th minute. But as I was saying, I think it was another frustrating game for Stirling Uni, similar to the previous game. Stirling dominated much of it, but just couldn't get the second goal. Edinburgh did have a decent spell and could have nicked it. Just before we get into it, we'll hear Chris Geddes' thoughts with David Chandler.
Well, Chris, I imagine that's not how you wanted to start 2020, a very frustrating afternoon.
Yeah, we dominated the game. We had lots of opportunities, and Edinburgh Uni got what they came for. They obviously set up with no striker to start the game, and they had a centre midfielder up front, and they just sat in 2 banks. And we played well though, and we scored a good goal to go 1-0 up, and then we seen it out to half time, and we played really well in the first half.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have been satisfied with the first half performance, apart from the fact you'd only got the 1 goal.
Yeah, I'll say it again, like I say, they were sitting in very deep, so we had to try and break them down. We were patient. We scored a good goal through Robbie. Matty crossed it from the right. Ewan's competed, and then Robbie's took a touch and put it in at the back post. So no, it was good to get a goal, especially against a team that are sitting so deep and they're fighting for their lives. They're obviously at the bottom of the league, so we knew it was going to be a game where they're maybe sitting in a bit deeper, but maybe not as deep as we didn't think they would sit that deep. It's probably the first year we've ever seen an Edinburgh Uni team not play out from the back as well. So yeah, happy at half time.
Second half didn't really go according to plan though, did it?
The first 5 minutes we came out sloppy, and Edinburgh Uni scored a good goal, a good counter. Ben nearly saved it, and it looped out. He saved it and it looped in the goal. And then for the next 10 minutes after that, Edinburgh Uni played well. We just seemed to lose our composure. And then I think for the last 25 minutes we dominated again. And in saying that, we nearly lost it in the last minute. Finn Daniels had a chance, he put it over the bar, but really disappointed.
There was a big moment of controversy in the second half with a penalty shout. What was your view on that?
Oh, listen, it's a Stonewall penalty. We've crossed it and we've hit a header, and the boys blocked it. It's going in. I think it's going in. I'll have to see the highlights obviously, but it looks like it's going in, and he's blocked it with his hand. The funny thing for me is the ref says it's hit his hand, but he's not gave it. The linesman said the ball hit his chest, which for me is one of the most ridiculous answers I've ever heard from a linesman in my life. And yeah, it's really disappointing because it's points dropped when we dominated a game. They knew it was a smash and grab. Some of their players said to me after the game there, he's dominated us. But listen, Edinburgh Uni got what they came for. They came there fighting for their lives, so fair play to them. They came with a game plan and they got something out of it.
Chris, thanks very much.
No problem, David.
Obviously want to thank Chris Geddes and David Chandler. Very disappointed in the result, I would assume. It's weird. We've seen a few times this season where, based on form, you kind of look at it and you say, well, that's my favourite, but for whatever reason these sort of games tend to throw up a few shocks.
The Uni games are always a bit different as well, aren't they? There's a bit more on the line when they play each other, but I can understand why Chris is upset, because not just on the way things have gone for them so far in the campaign, but also by the sound of the game itself, Stirling had the game in their grasp. And to be fair to them, this season they've been good at seeing games out, unlike last year. And they picked up a lot of draws for these kind of positions last year, so that's a bit of old frustration maybe coming back there. But you got, again, give credit to Edinburgh Uni, who are scrapping at the bottom, scrapping for their lives at this stage. Dorian's going to make sure that they are set up to frustrate, to fight, and ultimately to try and get points like this as we go. So I don't want to focus too much on Stirling Uni being upset, because I think we need to give credit to Edinburgh, give credit where it's due, because this could be the start of something for them if they can get a wee run together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think based on the results this week. I think it's, certainly when myself and Kev talked about it last week, the bottom four certainly, but Edinburgh Uni and Vale are still the two that I'm looking at to really perhaps be relegated. It looks like Gretna, as you mentioned, have a wee bit about them. Dalbeattie, I don't think they're out of it yet, but certainly between Vale and Edinburgh Uni at the moment for me, I think.
Yeah, as things stand, I think it's going to be really tough for both Edinburgh Uni and for Vale. But again, it depends on what happens up the leagues. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because it is January. It's the first time we've recorded an episode in the new year. But if you look at League 2, it's currently a team that would go to the Highland League. They're sitting bottom. And obviously that can affect things as well. So there's plenty of time between now and then. Let's see how it plays out. And then closer to the time, I'm sure we'll do a full rundown of the ins and outs and what these teams are playing for and what to expect.
And on that note, mate, we'll move on to next week's fixtures. We'll start with the 2 o'clock kickoffs. And first of all, it's Civil Service Strollers versus BSC Glasgow at Christie Gillis Park. To me, I think Strollers have done really well. I keep mentioning it, and I know they do too, but it is actually true that how great they've been considering all the injuries they've had. Gary Jardine and the boys have done fantastically well. They're up against the BSC Glasgow team that I think we've mentioned they might have, eyes on the Scottish Cup tie. It's a perfect opportunity for Strollers to get a home win there for me, I think.
Yeah, although the flip side there is you'll get boys for BSC that will be playing to try and get a jersey for the Scottish Cup game. So I think it's a set up to be a cracker. Like, BSC will obviously want to bounce back after the first loss in a long, long time. And the first home loss of the whole season as well. But as you've said, Civil are pretty good at home as well. It's set up to be a great game.
Moving on to our second 2 o'clock kickoff, Vale Leven versus Berwick Rangers, Victoria Park. It's one at the bottom really, but I do see Berwick Rangers getting the win there for me.
Yeah, I think Berwick will go in as favourites. It's one of those that Vale might fancy their chances of stealing a draw here or whatever, but I think if you're a Berwick fan, you'll be disappointed not to be able to go down Vale and go down. They'll be going up to Vale and taking 3 points.
And moving on to the 3 o'clocks, Bonnyrigg Rose versus Spartans at New Dundas Park. The way they're going, you have to, any team they come up against, maybe apart from Kelty, you have to give the advantage to Bonnyrigg Rose, I would say.
Yeah, I was very impressed with aspects of their play at the weekend there. They've just got a really solid base at the back, but going forward, they're looking more and more menacing. Cian McGahey went off with an injury, so we'll see if he's alright and he plays, but it's Josh Hunter that I'm keeping an eye on for them. He's been great, and he was really impressive again. So I think they probably get too much firepower for Spartans, and I'd expect Rose to win that.
Commonwealth Colts versus Dalbeattie Star at Broadwood Stadium. I have no idea. It's not the easiest one to predict going on form, to be honest. Two teams that could really do with picking up a result basically, and I cannot call that one.
Toss a coin. I just honestly, it could any result could happen there, and it wouldn't surprise me. So who knows?
East Stirlingshire versus University of Stirling at Falkirk Stadium. I'm going to go with Shire on that one. Haven't seen them and been impressed with them recently.
I'm not sure, because that Falkirk Stadium suits University of Stirling's style of play, with the way they pass the ball about, especially if it's a slick surface. And obviously, Uni gave Kelty a brilliant game as well, didn't they? So I might go for a cheeky draw there, just depending. We'll see. Shire will be the favourites, obviously, but I fancy Chris's boys to give them a right game.
Interesting. Edinburgh University versus Kelty Hearts at East Peffermill. Kelty will want to get back to winning ways. Edinburgh, yeah, you said it earlier, mate. They're fighting for their lives, but I think Kelty will just be too much for them on that day.
It's got home win written all over it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think conventional wisdom is you'd expect Kelty to bounce back and maybe get a few goals in that one.
Gallifreydine Rovers versus Caledonian Braves at the Netherdale. I don't know.
That's a great looking game, isn't it?
It is. Gala, they've not been as good this season in the Netherdale. I might be okay in saying that. Cali Braves, they've been a wee bit hit and miss sometimes for me. It's another one kind of set up that it's going to be whoever's wanting to win it on the day, I think.
Yeah, I can't call it. It's too tough to call that one, I think. So I'm gonna sit on the fence and see what happens.
Gretna 2008 versus East Kilbride, our final game at Raydale Park. Kilbride, the way they're going right now, I know it's before the Scottish Cup game, so they might be looking at it to change things up a wee bit, but I can't see anything other than a East Kilbride win there.
The thing with the Scottish Cup game is, because it is another Lowland side, because it's Kilby against BSC, I don't see them making too many changes. It's not like it's a midweek game or so on, so if anything, I feel like both of them would be more determined to go out and get the winning style and seal their places in the squad. Gretna have been pretty good of late, so we'll see what kind of game they give Kilby, but I would fancy Kilby to win that.
We'll move on to plugs, mate. I'll let you go first as always.
Yeah, as normal, at Moza Plays on Twitter and wherever else in the world you want to find me. And I'll do the podcast as well at Official Catchup on Twitter. Find us on YouTube and so on as well. And for yourself, mate?
Rampant FM on Twitter, and you'll find the Catchup on Facebook at Lowland League Catchup. Pretty easy, straightforward one today, mate. Fixtures. It was a cracking fixture list, to be honest. They're really decent games. Unfortunately, it wasn't all wins for the teams that wanted them, but I think it's crunch time. I said it on Twitter the other day after the Bonnyrigg Rose game, but it is crunch time for a lot of these teams, bottom to top, I think.
It's getting interesting. This is where things are going to start heating up, and I'm looking forward to it. And just a side note, like any other leagues out there, that's how you do a New Year fixture list. You get full of derbies, full of local rivalries. People don't need to travel too far to go and see their team. And when you look at the crowd sizes, like look at the BSC one on Friday night, for example. Average crowd up to this point in the season has been a couple of hundred, and you had 340 bodies through for that game, including a lot of neutrals. So it's not just the fans themselves. You get a lot of neutrals coming to the games with the winter break in the leagues above us, the Premiership. So whoever's in charge of the fixture list, you just need to give them props, say well done, and hopefully that's where it stays, because the last couple of years we've had a cracking festive fixture list.
Absolutely, and I think it's been noted by other people as well, but certainly the interest by the mainstream media this week. There was a guy at the Kelty game, Kenny. He's actually, when I was speaking to him, a photographer. He actually lives in Kelty, funny enough, and that was the first time he was there to cover Kelty for, I believe it was like the Sunday Mail or something like that. I'm not really aware of too many papers. I don't tend to read them, but it's fantastic that the league is getting the press it deserves, and I just hope it's something that I've seen more of it this season than previous seasons, People News and Edinburgh News and stuff like that, but I really hope it continues, because the quality and the importance and everything you really want to say about the league has improved, and it deserves the press it's getting, to be honest.
And I think that is only going to improve, especially when you're seeing players that are more than capable of stepping up to the levels above in the SPFL as well. We've seen it with the boys that have moved on for Stirling Uni, guys that have been at loan and the likes of BSC. You've had Cammy Ballantyne doing really well, Carlo Pignatello at Stranraer. You've also seen Jamie Gullen kick on after he's been on loan in this league, so it's only natural the profile of the league itself is going to improve, and obviously whatever we can do to help that, we'll do so.
I obviously want to thank all the listeners, everyone from the clubs, the gaffers, the players, everyone that listens in. And we've not really been sort of consistent, but I think hopefully, Mozza, we will be coming into the new year. The festive period's over. We'll organise it between ourselves what we're going to do. I know there was a few comments on the last episode. Hopefully, these are getting back to weekly or whatever, but we'll try our best and see where we go. Yeah,
it's the usual thing over Christmas, folks. Don't worry, we're still alive, we're still here, and we're still fully committed. So expect to hear our voices a fair bit as we're moving on.
And on that note, we'll see you soon.
Catch you later.